Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
The morning of January 25th, 2025, showed America's political problems again. President Donald Trump, in his second term, wrote many angry messages about Democrats in Congress. Democrats also spoke against his actions, saying he took too much power. People who wanted both sides to work together were not heard. This fighting was now a normal day. Many people felt tired. They felt stuck in a never-ending cycle of anger. It seemed like America's way of choosing leaders was breaking. Sarah Chen, a software engineer, lived in Massachusetts. She liked some ideas from Republicans, like saving money. But she also liked ideas from Democrats, like equal rights. When she voted, she felt lost. She said it was like choosing food she didn't like. Her views, shared by many, had no voice in Congress. In her state, many people voted for Republicans, but that party won 0 seats. Marcus Williams lived in Oklahoma. He was a worker and voted for Democrats. But he also believed in gun rights and worried about some environmental rules hurting jobs. He felt he had to pick a party that did not fully show his beliefs. In his state, many people voted for Democrats, but that party won 0 seats out of 5. Jennifer Rodriguez owned a small business in Colorado. She wanted less government and supported new ideas like drug freedom. But she felt both big parties were too controlling. She often had to vote for a candidate she only partly agreed with. These 3 voters felt their voices were not heard. Many Americans felt this way. People often blame politicians, saying they are too extreme or don't work together. But what if the problem is not the politicians themselves? What if the problem is the system that chooses them? What if the way America votes makes these problems worse? In America, the system often makes votes meaningless for millions of people. It rewards extreme views and makes it hard for politicians to work together. Other countries use different voting methods. This book will explore these ideas. Is the problem with the politicians or the system that elects them? 2. How the system began. America's original leaders, like James Madison, did not plan for the two-party system seen today. Madison was one of the nation's founders. He worried about faction, which meant political groups that might harm the country. In 1787, he wrote about his fear of one group becoming too powerful. He hoped a large republic would have many different interests. This way, no single group could take control. He imagined a system where groups would work together on different issues. This would stop deep political divisions from forming. However, Madison did not fully know how the small details of elections would shape politics. The United States Constitution, which Madison helped create, was not very clear about how elections should work. Article 1, Section 2, simply stated that members of the House of Representatives would be chosen every second year by the people of the several states. It did not say if they should be chosen from single areas or if many people could be chosen from one larger area. The founders left many decisions for later generations to figure out. At first, some states chose all their representatives from the state as a whole. Others chose several representatives from larger areas. Only a few used single-member districts like we have now. The way elections work today came about through a series of unplanned events and old laws. The first big step was the Apportionment Act of 1842. This law made states draw single-member districts for elections to the House of Representatives. The stated reason was to stop states from unfairly drawing district lines. But the real reason was political. The party in control wanted to limit the power of another party. People at the time argued that this law was bad. They said it took power from states and would make political groups less diverse. But these concerns were ignored. Even after 1842, the rule for single-member districts was not always in place. Sometimes new laws included it, sometimes they did not. Some states still elected several representatives from one district or all from the state when federal law allowed it. This continued until 1967. That year, Congress passed the Uniform Congressional District Act. This law made the single-member district rule a permanent federal law. The main reason for this was to follow new court rules about districts having equal numbers of people. But this act also stopped states from trying out other ways of voting. Most Americans today do not know about this law or that it can be changed. This is how the system of single-member districts became fixed in place. 3. Why we only have two parties. The United States has mostly had two main political parties. This is not by chance. It happens because of how America counts votes. One important idea explaining this is called Duverger's law. This rule says that when a country uses winner-take-all elections in single districts, it usually ends up with only two big parties. In a winner-take-all system, only one person can win in each district. This means voters often feel they must choose between the two candidates who have the best chance of winning. If they vote for a smaller, third party, they worry their vote will be wasted. They might even worry their vote will help the candidate they like least win. This feeling makes many people vote for either the biggest Democratic candidate or the biggest Republican candidate, even if they don't fully agree with them. They choose based on who they think can actually win. This way of voting makes it very hard for new or smaller parties to grow. Money for campaigns mostly goes to the two main parties because they are seen as the only ones who can win. News channels and other media also focus heavily on these two parties, giving them most of the attention. This creates a strong cycle. The two parties get more attention and money, which helps them win, and so they stay the two big parties year after year. America's history shows how hard it is for other parties to last. In the late 1800s, the Populist Party became strong, fighting for farmers and workers. They won many votes and elected some leaders. But soon, many of their ideas were taken by the Democratic Party, and the Populist Party disappeared. Later, in 1912, the Progressive Party formed. It even had a former president, Theodore Roosevelt, as its candidate. They won many votes, but their split from the Republicans helped a Democrat win. By 1916, the Progressive Party was gone. The Socialist Party also grew strong in the early 1900s. They had many members and won some local elections. But over time, the two main parties took some of their ideas, and the winner-take-all system made it impossible for them to win enough big elections to stay important. Even in recent times, this pattern has continued. Ross Perot ran for president in 1992 as an independent. He won nearly 1 in 5 votes, showing that many people wanted something different. But he did not win any electoral votes. His party also did not last. This means that many Americans, like Sarah, Marcus, and Jennifer from earlier chapters, do not feel truly represented. Their views might not fit perfectly with either of the two big parties. But because of how the system works, they are often forced to choose between them, hoping for the best. This system pushes politics to two sides, even when many people want more choices. 4. A different way to vote. Many countries around the world use different ways to elect their leaders. These systems try to make sure that if a political party gets a certain number of votes, they get a similar number of seats in the government. This idea is called proportional representation. It means that the number of seats a party has should be proportional to the votes it receives. This is different from a system where only one winner is chosen for each area. One good example of proportional representation is Germany. They use a system called mixed-member proportional voting. In Germany, voters get 2 votes when they go to the polls. Their first vote is for a local candidate in their own district, much like people in the United States vote for their local representative. This first vote helps decide who will directly represent their local area in the parliament. But the second vote in Germany is just as important. This second vote is for a political party at the national level. This means voters choose which party they want to support overall. The results of these second votes decide how many total seats each party should get in the parliament to match their national popularity. For example, if a party gets 30% of all national votes, they should get about 30% of the seats. Here is how it works for fairness. If a party wins many votes across the country with their second vote, but they do not win many local seats with their first vote, they get extra seats. These extra seats come from a special list of candidates that the party prepared before the election. This helps make sure that the final number of seats for each party in the parliament closely matches the total votes they received from the people. This way, smaller parties, which might not win local elections, can still get seats if enough people vote for them nationally. Often if they reach a small percentage of votes, like 5%. This system has many benefits.
Because no single party usually wins enough seats to govern alone, parties must work together. They form coalition governments. This means different parties talk to each other and agree on plans to run the country. It encourages them to negotiate and find common ground instead of always fighting.
This makes the government work more smoothly, and policy decisions are often more carefully made. People often feel that their vote truly matters, leading to higher trust in their democratic system. 5. Good ideas from other countries. Ireland uses a unique voting system called single transferable vote. In this system, voting areas choose multiple representatives, usually 3 to 5. Voters do not simply pick one person. They rank candidates in order of preference, first, second, and so on. If a voter's first choice cannot win, their vote moves to their second choice. This continues until all seats are filled. This means voting for a smaller party or independent candidate is never a wasted vote, giving voters more options. This ranking system gives voters much more power to express their true preferences. Candidates must try to attract votes from a wide range of people, not just their main supporters. They need to get second or third choices from voters who might not pick them first. This encourages politicians to be more respectful. They avoid attacking opponents fiercely because they might need those opponents' voters to rank them highly. Ireland's parliament often includes representatives from many different parties. New Zealand, which once used a winner-take-all system like America's, made a significant change in 1996. This old system often caused frustration. New Zealand then switched to a proportional system similar to Germany's. This change greatly improved politics for New Zealanders. New, smaller parties were able to gain seats in Parliament, offering more voter choices. This new system also encouraged the main parties to be more moderate and work together. After the change, surveys showed people in New Zealand were much happier with their democracy and trusted their government more. More diverse people, including women and ethnic minorities, gained seats. Making laws became more about working together, with less extreme swings in policy. These types of systems, used in many successful countries, show clear benefits. Research proves they lead to better governance and higher voter turnout. Citizens are more satisfied with democracy, and governments respond better to people. There is also less political division. When politicians know they might need to work with opponents, they stay more polite and avoid harsh attacks. Countries that adopted these systems saw real improvements in their democratic health. 6. How we can start to change. The biggest problem for changing how we vote is simple. The politicians who win under the current system usually do not want to change it. They have learned how to get elected under the rules that are in place today. Many members of Congress have safe seats, meaning they almost always win their elections. This gives them little reason to try new ways of voting. Experts who study politics agree on this. Politicians often do not vote for things that might hurt their chances of winning the next election. Protecting their own seat is important to them. This desire to keep their job is a strong force in American politics, affecting both main parties. But there is another way to make changes. Even if Congress does not act, a new movement is growing in states and cities. This path lets reforms start at a local level, showing how new voting systems can work. These successes can then push for bigger changes across the country. For example, in Maine, voters chose to use ranked choice voting for their state and federal elections. This happened even though the two main political parties were against it. In 2018, a race for Congress in Maine's 2nd District was the first federal election decided by ranked choice voting. The winner got more votes because people who liked smaller parties or independent candidates had their votes moved to their second choice. This showed that the new system could lead to different results. People in Maine liked the new system. They felt free to vote for their favorite candidate without worrying about wasting their vote. Also, campaigns became more polite because candidates wanted to be the second choice for voters who liked other candidates. Alaska also made a big change. It started using a top 4 primary system with ranked choice voting for general elections. In a special election for Congress in 2022, this system worked well. It allowed all voters to share their true choices. The candidate who won was the one many different voters could agree on. Cities are also showing that new voting methods work. Places like San Francisco and Minneapolis use ranked choice voting for city elections. People there report being happier with the system. There is less negative campaigning and more different kinds of people win elections. These changes at the state and city level show a clear path to make the voting system better in America. 7. A plan for a better system. A new plan for changing the voting system in the United States was created. It was called the Fair Representation Act. This detailed plan came from groups working to improve elections, like Fair Vote. This act suggested a big change for how people elect members to the House of Representatives. The main idea was to use ranked choice voting, but in much larger districts. These would be called multi-member districts. This means that instead of one person winning from a small area, several people would be elected from a bigger area. The system would be like the one in Ireland, but made to fit America. This new way of voting would make representation fairer. For example, look at Oklahoma. This state currently has 5 districts, and usually only Republicans win these seats. But about 1/3 of voters in Oklahoma are Democrats. Under the Fair Representation Act, Oklahoma could become one large district that elects all 5 representatives. With ranked choice voting, a candidate would need only about 17% of the votes to win a seat. This would mean Democrats could finally elect some representatives, matching their share of the voters. The same idea would work in other states too.
In Texas, the system would also change. Texas has many people and many representatives. Now, most elected officials are white Republicans, even though the state has many different people. With larger multi-member districts and ranked choice voting, the group of representatives from Texas would better reflect all its people. There would be more Hispanic candidates, more Democrats from cities, and even more moderate Republicans from the suburbs. This plan offers a smart way to make changes. It can start small, with one state leading the way. If one state uses this new system for its House elections and it works well, other states will see the good results. They will see fairer elections, more choices for voters, and better government. This success in one state would build a strong reason for other states to try the Fair Representation Act. It would create a movement for change across the country, showing that a better system is possible for all of America. 8. A new future for America. The morning after President Donald Trump's inauguration, Sarah Chen in Massachusetts, Marcus Williams in Oklahoma, and Jennifer Rodriguez in Colorado felt a familiar frustration. The same two parties were still fighting. They offered voters very similar choices. These choices made fewer and fewer Americans happy with each election. Sarah felt no one represented her mixed views.
Marcus felt stuck supporting ideas he only partly believed. Jennifer wished for more than just two options. This problem comes from America's winner-take-all voting system. It makes it hard for new parties to grow. It forces people to pick between two main groups. But a clear path to a better future is now seen: proportional representation. There is hope. A quiet change is happening in different states and cities. In Maine and Alaska, voters have tried ranked choice voting. They experienced having real choices, not just two. This voting method helps more voices be heard. In many cities across the country, new voting methods have led to more diverse people winning elections. Campaigns have also become more civil and less harsh. State leaders are studying these new voting ideas. They see that people deserve a system that truly represents them. America does not need to invent a new form of democracy. It needs to join other democracies around the world. These countries use systems that reflect many different opinions. These systems are proven to work well, and people want this change. The U.S. Constitution does not force America to have the current voting system. This system is from old laws made in the 1800s, not from the Founders' Plan. These old laws can be changed. Congress can change them, or individual states can act. The question is not if proportional representation can work in America. Countries like Germany and New Zealand have shown it works for decades. The real question is whether Americans will stay stuck in old ways. Or will they choose better, more modern ways that other countries use?
The control by two parties has gone on long enough. It is time for American democracy to grow and represent everyone fairly.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.